Hey there, Zachariah Brewer here, Soaring Eagle Professional Services. I want to change the way that safety is taken care of, safety is addressed and done in the professional world, especially the industrial world. A lot of safety training just focuses on do this, don't do that, and really misses the why behind what students are supposed to learn. All right? And it's not going to be real to them unless they can connect with it. So how do we make them connect with it? How do we help them connect with it? Not make it, but how do we help them connect with it? By giving them examples, by giving them real life, this is what happens. All right? So I want to start off with some experience from my own and explain, the roofing job I had that lasted 2 days. And I'm going to have to do this in multiple installments because so many things went wrong with that job. I've got to take time to break them down into different categories. All right, so I'm going to start with the things that should have told me not to take this job before I even took this job. And the problem is, I came out of high school having no occupational safety awareness. All right, I worked at a Boy Scout camp. I worked as a bagger at a grocery store. I worked at Subway. Those are the types of jobs I'd had before getting on this construction job. I'd worked a construction job before, but this is my first and only roofing job. So 2 days I lasted before they didn't invite me to the next job, and I didn't complain. I took my, meager $56 I made off of those 2 days, and sayonara. So what happened? What should have told me not to take this job in the first place, that the $56 I was going to earn, that I didn't know about it yet, but the $56 I was going to earn weren't worth the risks I was taking on this job. All right. Well, to start off, what happened is I had a buddy of mine who had been a construction worker, working on framing houses, carpentry for over 10 years at this point of his life. Since he was a teenager, he was in college now, he had grown up with that multi-generational trade. And one thing about that is that he could handle the South Louisiana heat. All right, he was a Cajun from South Louisiana. He could handle the heat. That was not an issue. That was not a problem for him. What was an issue was how this was handled. All right, so one of the first things he told me about this job, which he found the job through a want ad in the newspaper back when such things existed, and he responded to that, and they agreed to let him come on. So he was having a rough patch trying to find work. His regular contractors weren't, hiring, didn't have need for him at that point. So he took work where he could find it. It was his roofing job. Well, he gets on the job and he finds out that the foreman of this job found all of his other workers in rehab, except for my buddy, and except for the foreman's parole officer's son. Yeah. So that gives you an idea what kind of coworkers my buddy had. All right. So when my buddy gets out there, he finds out that all the guys on this crew will pop Xanaxes, muscle relaxers, in order to be able to work in the heat and keep hoofing it. And of course, my buddy being clean cut, wasn't, no alcohol, no drugs in his life at that point, and he wasn't doing the same thing, but of course, naturally, he couldn't keep up, right? He had a little bit more fatigue on it. Well, that was red flag number one. Red flag number two was that his boss did not bring water onto a job site, a roofing job site, mind you, there's no shade, in South Louisiana in the summer. All right? So basically what I watched happen that I also didn't have any awareness of was my buddy basically go through a heat stroke. Probably, when it all came down to it, he had a heat stroke. If I had to, he refused to go to the hospital and just kind of laid there on his tile floor trying to recuperate from that whole day's worth of stuff. And all I could get him to do was drink water and Powerade, and he was in bad shape. Even for somebody from, like I said, a Cajun from South Louisiana who'd done this his whole life, that was too much for him. All right? So why am I bringing these up? Number one, on any job that you're going to take, pay attention to what their safety culture is like. All right? You need to be aware of what kinds of mishaps they have. It is to your benefit. It behooves you to figure out what kind of incidents they've had, what kind of patterns they've had. Talk to some people who've worked there if you can, and figure out what things are like. Because if you can figure out what things are like, then you can, basically set yourself up for success. Now, what does that mean? All right, we've got issues like this, and you just have people who are unaware. I was unaware of what risk I was taking by getting on this roofing job. My buddy was unaware of just how bad it was, which is why he quit. Now, part of his quitting was promising them that he was going to replace himself with somebody who was equally capable, i.e. me, i.e. no, I wouldn't. So that's a real issue there. All right. Now, foremen, supervisors, superintendents, bosses, general contractors, you need to understand that unless they've been through some kind of safety training at a previous job site, unless they've been through some of that in school, they have no clue what to look for. They have no clue why stuff like this is a bad idea. All right? So, this is a key reason why safety training matters. It matters in the schooling level, in the apprentice level. It matters in hiring. Do what you can. Find yourself a good, OSHA 10-hour trainer. OSHA, authorizes people to do it. I'm one of them. And if you want some more training that hits it where it, hits home like this, then let's talk. All right. But the main thing is invest in your people. You are going to reap a reward by not having to lose people, lose man hours, lose efficiency, or anything else to that effect. All right? So, again, Zachariah Brewer, Soaring Eagle Professional Services. I'm here to meet whatever needs you have as far as safety, training, education is concerned. Let me know. Thank you much.